Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you here. If you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Stella. Welcome to Sew with Stella. I do upload tutorial videos on how to draft your patterns and how to cut and sew different styles, how to make fabric flowers and so on and so forth. So if you're yet to subscribe, click on the subscribe button and hit on the notification bell for you to be notified each time I make a new upload. Thank you. So for today's tutorial, I want to teach us how to use a pattern to get three types of corset. That you are going to use this particular pattern to achieve three different types of corset. So that's what we are going to be doing today. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to draw my horizontal and vertical line. This is my shoulder line. This is my chest line, this is my bust line, this is my under bust line, and this is my waistline. Let me go ahead and write it. This is my shoulder line, this is my chest line, this is my bust line, this is my under bust line, and this is my waistline. So that's that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to determine where I want my corset to start, where I want it to start. I'm going to be using 7 inch. 7 inch. It's a moderate. It's moderate. It's not going to show my cleavage. So that's what I'll be marking. So this is where my corset to be starting. 7 inch, and I'm going to connect it. So after connecting, I'm going to take my bust span. My bust span is 7.5. 7.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 3.75. So I'm going to mark 3.75 here, and I also mark 3.75 here. Then I'll go ahead and connect. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take note of the difference between my bust line and my under bust. It's 3.5. So I'm going to mark it round. I'm going to mark it round. This is just serving as a guide. It serves as a guide for us. So that is it. 3.5. I'm going to mark it round. So after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dart. So I'll come on under my bust. I'm going to mark 1 inch on both sides. Then on the waist, so I'm going to do same, mark 1 inch on both sides, and then I'll connect. Also connect this to this. I'm also going to come up here, and I'm also going to mark 1 inch on both sides. You can decide to make it 1.5. That's 3/4 on both sides. But me, I'm going to mark it 1.5. I'm going to mark 1 inch on both sides. 1 inch on both sides. So after that, I'm going to, on my bust line, I'm going to come up by 2 inch. 2 inch. It depends on where you want the center to start from. Mine is 2 inch, so you can decide to make it 1.5. So after that, I will mark 0.5 because I want the center of the corset to be 1 inch. You know our fabric is going to be on fold, so I'm going to mark ½ inch. So when it's open, it's going to be 1 inch. take note that I'm not adding seam allowance to this pattern. So when I'm cutting on my fabric, that's when I'll add the seam allowance. I also go ahead and mark 1/2 inch and then connect it. So what I'm going to do next is to connect this to this. I'll connect this to this. So that's it. So here too, I'm going to connect this to this. But before I do that, this part of our bust is fuller compared to this side. So I'm going to add 0.5 inch to it. 0.5 inch. So I'm going to connect this to this. So next I'm going to do is to connect this to this. And then connect this to this. And then this to this. Make sure that you just, depending on the shape you want, you just trace it out. Trace your shape out nicely. Just trace it out. So after that, take note that we'll be cutting off this. We'll be cutting off this. We'll be cutting off this. So that's that. So the next thing is to go ahead and place my measurement. My bust is 36. 36 divided by 4 is going to give me 9. So I'll come here and mark 9. Now remember that we are going to cut off this. So I'm going to ahead and measure it to add. So this is about 1¼ So 1¼ plus 1/2 inch that we used to add the two panels together is going to give me a total of 1.75. So I'll go ahead and add 1.75, which is here. Then my under bust. Sometimes my under bust is 32, sometimes it's 33. Is it that I'm increasing or reducing? I don't just understand. My under bust 32. 32 divided by 4 is going to give me 8. So I'm going to mark 8. Then we are going to cut off this 2 inch. So 2 inch plus 1/2 inch I'm going to use to add them together is a total of 2.5. So this is 2.5. 2.5. Then my waist is 32. 32 divided by 4 is going to give me 8. 8. This is 8. 8 plus 2 inch, this that we're going to cut off, and 1/2 inch I'm going to use to add both of them together, 2.5. So I'll go ahead and add and mark 2.5, which is this. So the next I'm going to do is to go ahead and connect. So basically my under bust and my waist is, will I say, almost the same. So that's that. So I'll just go ahead and connect. So what I'm going to do next, before I cut, let me go ahead and mark it. I'll have 1, 2. Please make sure you try as much as possible to label it. If not, it's going to confuse you when cutting, trying to cut and trying to sew, or when you're trying to sew it. So please try as much as possible to label it properly. So that's that. After that, I'm going to go ahead and cut. Remember I said I'm going to use this pattern and show us how to develop 3 different types of corsets from this pattern, so pay attention. The first one is you can either decide to leave it like this and this. That's this one will be one panel, this will be two panel, or you make this one panel and then don't worry, I'm going to let me just cut it off. So as you can see, we are through with our pattern. So this is the first method I want to show us. It's just having two panels. You see, you just join this to this. So the join will only be here. So this is the first method. You can see it. This is the first method. Then for the second method, I won't be cutting this thing. I'm going to place it on another paper and trace it out because I want to show us. So let me place it on another paper and trace it out so that I'll be able to explain fully. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to trace out others. You can see it. I traced out this one, traced out this one, and then traced out this one. So I'm going to use it to as it shows the three different methods. So let me keep this one first. So for the first one now, like I said, this is how it's going to look like. This is how it's going to look like. So this is how the pattern is going to be. Just two panels. That's this and this. Just two panels. You can see it. Just two panels. You can see it. So that is that. That's for the that's the first method. And then the second method, you can see it like this. You can see it. So you might decide to like maybe want to make it to be three, as in three parts. You can decide to make it three parts. So let's say you can just go ahead and mark 2" here. Let's go ahead and mark 2" here. 2". 2". 2". And then 2" also. So next is to just go ahead and connect it. You can see it. Just go ahead and connect it. So what you do is I'll cut off here, then join these two together. So I'll join 1 and 2 as one. Then this will be on its own. So let me go get a paper and do that. Just make sure you trace it properly. You can use a pin to hold it down while tracing it out. And take note of the midpoint. Take note of the midpoint so that when joining it, you know how to go about it. So you have something like this. Make sure you trace yours out properly. So you can see this is 1 and 2. This is 1 and 2. So you just place it like this. You can see it. Look at, you can see it. This one now has 3 parts. It has 1, 2, 3. Take note that this was a combination of this and this. 1 and 2. So you can see it. So this is the second method. This is the second method. It must not necessarily be 2-inch. It must not necessarily be 2-inch. Like for this one now, you can decide to also cut it. You can decide to just cut it into 2. Like what I mean for this second method is you might decide not to measure 2-inch. You might decide not to measure 2-inch. You might decide to use this line. You just go ahead and cut it. Then add these two together, trace it on a paper, then place on your fabric and cut. So that is it. Then for this one also, you can also decide to use a different fabric to make this. You can decide to use a different fabric, different from these ones, to do it. So there are different styles. So that's that. Then for the last one, what you are going to do is you can go ahead and just cut this, cut this, join this separately, join this separately, join this separately, join this separately. You can just go ahead and trace it out. You trace them out separately. One and okay, this 1 and 2, I already have it here. 1 and 2. No, it's not of the same shape. So you just go ahead, place it here. Place it here. You trace it out. Take note of the midpoint. Please make sure you trace yours properly. I'm just doing a rough work here. So this for the first 1 and 2. Then 3 and 4. You also go ahead and place it. Then cut it out. Remember that this is 3 and 4. This is 1 and 2. 1 and 2. You see it. So make sure you label it. This is 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So, and this is the third one. This is the third one. Take note of the, when tracing out, take note of the midpoint. So that is that. So that is that. I hope you learned something from this video. If you do, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, and share with your friends. Like, on your way next time with another interesting tutorial. Do have a lovely, lovely day. Bye bye.